Want to 10x your growth? Discover how only 3 growth hacks in 10 days can change everything. Welcome to the 10-Day Growth Hacking Challenge. You're here with your host, Nader Sabri, and today we are here with Zaheer Nasser, kicking things up in the healthcare space, focused on functional medicine and delivering it at scale at a very cost-effective price. He has in the background what we've been classifying as a golden card, which we've been testing and working with. To get more information before we start about Zaheer, you can click below. If you want to get a bit more background to what functional medicine is and what he's doing and the purpose behind it, go back to the kickoff video in the first video of this series. Today we're here on hack number 3, the last hack of the last 10 days. Okay, and here we are, and it's been an interesting journey. We've had the ups and downs, but you know that's how it goes, right? Everything leads to the next thing, and here we are. So before we always get started, just really quick. Has there been any results from hack 1 or 2 as an update you'd like to share with us before we jump into hack number 3?
Hey, how's it going? So from hack 1, we have started the analysis of traffic and hoping to get an understanding of what's going on so that we can get some more clarity on what we need to do and how we can get back to our original traffic levels. From hack 2, we've continued to speak to people and collect email addresses. So as I mentioned previously, we haven't launched our service yet. We're in the process of finalizing things like regulatory approval. So and getting permissions and finalizing partnerships. So we have now a good size of database to at least start with people who are interested once we do launch. And that's going to be growing. We've also started the initiative to collect via landing pages. So
the pop-up that was created is actually successfully collecting email addresses now, right? There's people successfully in the email sequence already?
It is, yeah. Obviously, okay. Because of the traffic situation, obviously that volume is not necessarily high, but we've been using other means to collect those email addresses as well. So.
Oh, got it. Okay, fantastic. Yeah, and I just want to point out that there's a seasonal element because in a lot of the data that I'm looking across several platforms, since we are at the end of August at the moment, this is a seasonality issue. So it is a little bit lower than it would normally be, but in approximately a few days, you'll see it pick up again. I'm just talking across the whole board over the internet. So you may see a sudden charge, right? Because we want a sudden jump, because we definitely want to see if that pop up and driving that traffic in. And just for background, those tuning in, so Zaheer acquired, I think in part, right, not in whole, is that, correct me if I'm wrong, but you acquired a portal that is basically targeted to the Middle East region in partnership with the NHS. And it's a golden card because it's got this amazing traffic with really good quality content. So we are basically trying to revitalize that traffic and push it towards the functional medicine. And so that's essentially for context for those who just tuned in. To know more about that, you can go back to hack 1 and take a look. Sorry, go ahead, Zaheer, keep going.
Yeah, so we're using, initially for hack 2, we were talking to people within the community, and we're still doing that. We're based in Hub 71, indeed. We work in Abu Dhabi, and we have a couple hundred, if not more, members here. So we're talking to people as we meet them, understanding, their approach to health. The packages and options that we're coming up with are being created as a survey that can be shared with various networks via social media, via LinkedIn, and we're collecting email addresses that way too. So we've already got a roughly 50 to 60 email addresses from just the start of the last hack till now. And we haven't yet launched our social media initiative, but we will be this week.
Yep.
And we anticipate that will grow quite significantly. So
yep. Well, my suggestion to you is keep focused on the email addresses, and social media is just a support. I always tell a lot of my clients and contenders that email is like gold. That's actually what you're after, because legally, from a digital perspective, you only really have a customer or own the customer relationship when you have the email, not a follower. So if you have followers and you've got engagement on social media, that's not yours. That belongs to the platform of social media. They just happen to be following you. So the key is having that email address and being able to manage email in a very well-structured, strategic way. That is your golden card well, I mean, a different context to what we're talking about is golden card before, but I always tell, clients and contenders, the golden part here is the email itself. So you're doing the right thing by collecting them, and you got to keep them warmed up, right? Not just technically warmed up, but you got to keep those digital relationships and building trust going, because as you start to monetize, you want to be able to turn those emails and those relationships into something monetizable at some stage, and sooner better than later. Awesome. Okay, great.
Yeah, and the other thing is, because functional medicine isn't that well known in the region, we want to use these email addresses to push out our newsletters, to provide education, links to videos, and resources that people can learn to understand functional medicine and become future potential customers through that. So, yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. So that's where we are now. So let's dig into hack number 3. What is it? What has happened? What did the results look like?
So hack number 3 was really a bit of a follow-on from hack number 2, where we were now looking at how we could optimize pricing and scale, and aligning the packages and deals with what the feedback we had from hack number 2. What we found was generally people wanted the more intermediate to advanced packages, and based on volume and scale, we've worked out that in the long run, based on subscription models and other options, we can bring down this cost over a 6 to 12 month period. This is either through optimizing the flow with the labs that we work with, or through actually investing in the equipment based on the tests that are most predominantly required. In our packages, we found that the packages, one of the things that came up was that the packages need to include some more advanced tests. And this is where a complication comes in, because the more advanced tests require a physician interaction. So we're looking at including the physician interaction into the most advanced package, so that very specific tests can be then ordered and priced into the model. And as a subscriber of the whichever package, we're offering an additional discount for any specific tests that needs doing. So, some people will have want to understand their GI in a better way. Some people want to get their microbiome tested for specific reasons. If you have, various other conditions that have underlying root that we need to do further investigations for to understand the root cause, these are things that the doctor can guide you on and then order up. And our goal is really to bring down cost and accessibility of functional medicine. So typically, providers of these tests, as you know, Nader, you've tried them out before. Yeah. When you go get these tests, they can be super expensive. Yeah. And the reason they're super expensive is because they are super niche and super exclusive. We want to remove that barrier, So people charge thousands of dirhams for a test that actually cost them, a couple of hundred dirhams or 500 dirhams. We want to be able to offer that scalability to our users, because they are the ones that they're going to benefit from this, but it should also be available to everybody who needs it. So,
yep. I love that. Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. I mean, reworking the pricing structure, not just from a competitive perspective, which you obviously gain a competitive advantage, especially because, I mean, just to recap, I mean, and remind me, this is a home-based, someone will come to you, will do the blood test, and then take it for testing, correct? Is that the model?
Yeah, so we have two models. One is, one is that we can send you a kit, and if you're comfortable doing the test yourself, we share with you videos and guidelines how to do it. and you can send it back to us. The second model is we send a nurse home. They collect your samples using the traditional IV method via the arm. And again, the results, the samples are shared with our labs, and within 24 hours, you get your results.
Perfect. So I think like when you have more competitive pricing and you have the home kind of do it yourself DIY, or I would never do that. That scares the hell out of me. But I'm not everybody, man. But the fact that you can send somebody who's qualified to my home to do it for me, and your prices are more competitive than that going to other sources, I think is going to be a major foundation to your ability to scale. I think the other part here that's really important is including the physician in all packages. I know we talked about last time, but I would challenge you to find a way from the starter package all the way to the advanced package. And the way to look at it, what I would recommend is how do you scale the level of effort and engagement of the physician? So what would be needed of the physician in the startup package versus the advanced package would be different. And the challenge for you would be, how do you automate that process to make that even more effective? Because it not also makes it effective in the sense of the output for the customer or the patient in this particular case, but it also makes it more effective in how the physician can deliver his or her expertise to the individual, and it becomes more profitable for you over time. So I think that there is an automation play in there in the sense of how to hack that, so that there's a scalability element on the aggregate results that you have as you build these out. I know that you were hesitant, I think, about putting the physician, I think, in the smaller packages, but I would really challenge you to do that. Try to find a way. And yeah, go ahead.
So, sorry, I just wanted to intervene there. We totally want to do that. I totally see the value in that. The problem we have in functional medicine is, there's not enough physicians, and with the number of physicians available, the cost is still very high for the physician. But what we're trying to do is, where it's possible, we want to actually get the permission from the user to record their sessions with their physicians. Obviously, mask out any sensitive data, but actually build an AI algorithm that can act as an artificial intelligence doctor for the lower packages, so they can just fill in a questionnaire and get similar feedback. And of course, I mean, ideally, I'd love all of our users to get a physician visit or consultation.
Yep.
And we also considered including that and taking a loss so that we can get valuable data out of it.
Yeah.
And it's still something we're considering. Obviously, it comes down to investment and how we structure the funding for it. But I completely agree with you. It's totally needed.
So there's another way around this. Like I've seen this happen in the area of telemedicine, where you have doctors in other localities who obviously would work in a remote format, but would have the same kind of capability and obviously qualifications and training. So maybe tapping into that in the short term to build up the AI. But there's the garbage in, garbage out thing. So you have to ensure that the doctors who are doing it from a telemedicine perspective are of top quality, because if you're going to be using AI, and I completely agree with you, forking up the investment early on to build the AI that can supplement costs in the future and obviously increase margins across all your packages, I think is well worth the investment. You got to crunch the numbers. But how you can work with that is working with telemedicine is your answer. I mean, it's just working with doctors in other localities. The other thing is that you can get really good quality doctors that may have some downtime and want to make some extra money. They could be retired doctors, semi-retired doctors. They could be doctors just looking to make some extra money. You don't know. I mean, that's a whole other market you can tap into. I know that functional medicine doctors are different. I've met some who are hybrid as well, who are MDs and they are functional medicine and they do natural medicine. It's like they've got this, and these are unique guys, by the way. Those are hard to find. So you want to learn from an AI perspective how to replicate that kind of doctor who has like this holistic view on everything. But until you get there, I'm sure that maybe you can find what would be really cool is if you can partner with a medical training facility, a university or whatever it is, And there could be some very serious potential there. There's a few hacks. Number one is there could be some funding available for something like this in different little pockets within educational systems that may surprise you. Second is you create a springboard into the future of medicine, and that also can give you an ability to tap into talent and continue to develop the AI. You may also be hiring some of these guys, not just as doctors, but for them to work on the AI. You'd be surprised what you might find. So I would challenge you to start engaging with some medical facilities around the world. You're not stuck to your locality. Education is an evolving space. I have a lot of activities that happen in that area, both clients and contenders, and we see a landslide situation taking place in education where massive disruption is happening, and you may be knocking on the right doors at the right time. Point blank. I would look into it very carefully.
Thank you. That's some great suggestions, and we will definitely take a look at those spaces and maybe call on you for some guidance on that too.
No, absolutely. I mean, listen, I mean, that's what growth hacking is about, right? I mean, in the growth thinking book, I mean, the reason we've got the 20 that we develop is that we do 3 here in the challenge, and then the remaining, which we'll talk a little bit more about later on, is to build the momentum so that you build the discipline and the consistency within the challenge, get the results in the challenge, and then move on. And ultimately, that's what I'm really looking for, because I really want you to move the needle with every contender we've had has moved the needle in one way or the other. And I mean that metaphorically, of course. That's a little bit different in your field, of course, moving the needle, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I think that's brilliant. I mean, I know that you're working on cost structure and supply chain issues that have impact on scale. And I'm pretty confident with time and some growth hacks that would, just like what we talked about, you can find that balance where you're going to find the ideal, like what we call the magic price, where that price fits exactly where you can hit the scale that you need and should be able to get with something like this.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. So guys, that is Zaheer Nasser. He is in the functional medicine space. He is shaking things up. We have just finished the 10 days as the last growth hack. We're going to jump into the next video. Do check us out. We're going to reflect on this and take a little bit closer look. For those tuning in, want to do what we do, it's all here in the Growth Thinking Design Methodology book. This is your guide to do what we're doing and have some fun along the way as well. So Zaheer, we'll see you in the finals.
Thank you, Nader. It's been great.